So, which calendar do I follow? So, I'm guessing that you're probably asking this either to do with something to do with the Sabbath or the feast or something like that. Um, so with being in the land of my captivity, I follow the Gregorian calendar. But that's not because I think it's the true calendar. Because I know that Yah took away his true calendar. You're going to see that in Jubilees 6. He also took away the feasts. One of the conditions for the feasts is that you need to do it at the appointed time. But along with Yah taking away the feast from Israel, because they transgressed and were booted out of their inheritance, there's another condition. They're not in their inheritance anymore. They're in the land of their captivity. So them doing, if you are Israel within the heathen, in Mystery Babylon or the UK or something, in America, meaning Babylon, you are profaning his holy things. This is Ezekiel 22 and Ezekiel 44. They're reflections of each other. Ezekiel 22 is the people who don't teach the difference between the holy and the profane, and they claim that it's a holy day when it's actually a profane day because they don't actually know the calendar, but they focus on the calendar and they try to figure out the true calendar, even though it won't be destroyed. It won't be destroyed. It won't be restored until the restoration of all things, which is New Jerusalem. That's when the feasts will be restored, the language, the calendar, all the restoration of all things truly. So, with me being in the land of my captivity, as I'm sure you are as well, you are not in sin for following just the calendar of your captivity. Yah took away his calendar. So anyone actually being presumptuous enough to think that they've sussed the calendar, or that Yah is somehow going to restore it before he said he would, you're being presumptuous and you're missing your calling. The watchmen are supposed to be the repentant, unjust stewards. There's two different people that the unjust steward talks to, and it's like a depiction of Israel and Judah. One guy he says just pay back 50, pay back half, and then the other one has to pay back 80. Judah owes more. Judah have their inheritance, but they're uttering the names of false gods. But Israel doesn't owe that. Israel is in the land of their captivity. I can say Thursday, and I'm not, Yah isn't holding that against me. We write a check for half. You keep the everlasting covenants of promise. You understand the refreshing of the covenant. You love God with all of your heart, soul, mind, and strength, meaning you keep that covenant and you learn the book to be able to teach the book, which is loving your neighbour. That's the elevated law. And that's what the watchmen are going to be preaching in the latter days. Nothing to do with trying to restore the calendar or the language or anything like that, because the watchmen, because they truly love God and neighbour and they keep and teach the covenant. That's what it means to be a peacemaker. The covenant of peace. When you teach it, you become a peacemaker. The people that do that are taught prophecy, and they see in prophecy that Yah isn't going to restore any of those things until New Jerusalem is a praise in all the earth. So don't waste your time. Again, I used your comment to kind of address this because it's been coming up a lot recently. But again, 7th-day Sabbath. Think about this. The pattern is work 6, rest 1. We know that the 7-day cycle hasn't been interrupted because Constantine, in the 4th century, he changed the Sabbath from Saturday to Sunday. And also Saturday, in most languages, means Sabbath, from what I've seen anyway. Every language I've ever, because my brother put together a little document to show that Sabbath in all of these different languages, Saturday means Sabbath, like day of rest. And so when Constantine changed the Sabbath to Sun God Day, the saints at the time were being persecuted and even killed, I believe, for keeping the true Sabbath. So we know that the 7-day cycle was still intact, and from there we've had pretty solid evidence that it's never been interrupted since then. Therefore, the Sabbath God wants us to keep is the 7th-day Sabbath on Saturday. Yes, you can come up with the Saturn's Day all you want. It's work 6, rest 1. We have the 7-day cycle still. So the calendar doesn't actually matter. We're in Israel. Israel's within the Gentiles in the land of their captivity. They don't have the calendar. They are going to utter false gods' names in the land of their captivity because they're in captivity. We don't owe the same as Judah. But yeah, I feel like that kind of addresses it. If you're going to focus on the calendar, at least to heed the warning that you don't have the true calendar. If you're thinking, I don't follow the Gregorian calendar because it's pagan and I do this calendar, you have not restored the true calendar. I don't care what you say, because Yah says he'll restore it when the end of Isaiah 66 takes place.